Here's another poll result that took me completely by surprise. The puzzle that won your vote is Flying Home by Colin Thompson. I was for sure certain that I would do either the two bookshop puzzles or the bizarre town puzzle, which would have been 2,000 pieces either way. But luckily for me, you chose this one. And since I've done this one last year, I think it was June, I thought it would be interesting to see how I tackle this puzzle a year and a half apart from each other. So let's have a look at that. So when I did this puzzle back in June, I obviously had to take out the edge pieces and I flipped the balance of the pieces. I remember putting this back with the edge pieces already separated. So this time around, I didn't have to sort the edge pieces out, but I started also by flipping all the pieces. And for both, I started with the edge. And looking at the footage, it seems like I pretty much did them on exactly the same way. Then I assume this is just because it's kind of my default go-to. I start at the top. I love starting at the top, and that's just for reasons I've already told you in previous videos. But I started with that red balloon at the very top and the blue sky surrounding that. And together with that, on both of them, you'll see it's basically the same all around. The towers for that building, the towers that touches on the sky. And to the left, I also started with the balloon or not the balloon, that's the bird that's next to the balloon. On the right hand side, that black bird in the corner also came in. So up until here, again, mostly the same. It appears that I did the one in June a bit slower than the one I did now in November. So it might be because the puzzle is more familiar to me and I recognize the pieces and where they go, as opposed to a year and a half ago that it was a first time assemble and I didn't know the pieces as well. Looking at the footage, it is definitely clear that I tackled this in more or less the same order as I did the other one. The outline of that balloon started to come in, and I think I will start with the green at the bottom first on both of them, and then I will go back to the balloon. And up until that stage, it's basically the same. The one is a little bit faster than the other, but as you can see, the images, what I did on the June puzzle, I also did on the November puzzle. What I did note, the very big difference between what I did in June and what I did now in November is at the end of the puzzle. In June, I started with the ground, that pathway and the people on that, and that creamy yellow brown foreground. And then lastly, I did the building. I remember telling you guys in that video that the building was kind of the most difficult for me. And this time around, surprisingly, I found the building to be the easier one. And I started with the building and I left the foreground for last. And again, I can only assume it is because I am more familiar with the pieces. I assume I remember a bit more of the puzzle. But as I look at the footage, that is the only big difference that I can see. So for the first, I want to say 2/3 of the puzzle, I basically did it the same. I want to say almost exactly the same. The only difference came into the end, and I swapped those two last sections around, and I did the building first this time around. And both times, this was such a joy puzzle to assemble. I enjoy Colin Thompson's work so very much. And the reason I assume this puzzle won your vote is because this image is so different from the majority of his work that is more the cupboard and bookshelf type of images. This one is equally as fun and it is equally as beautiful, but it's different. It's so very different. And I enjoyed it. And yeah, like I said, I was expecting to do one of the bizarre, either the bizarre town or the bizarre bookshop puzzles, and I did not expect to do this one again. But thank you guys, I really enjoyed it, and I was definitely looking for a reason to redo this for this channel, as the previous one I did in June was for my old channel. and at some point I will be taking that channel off, and I'm glad I still kept it on because I was able to retrieve the footage from the previous time I assembled this puzzle. But yeah, time-wise, I think this one went a little faster. I did not have the timer in June, but more or less the same. And always, always a joy and a pleasure to assemble. So with that, it might be the last deep dive and results videos for this year, 2025, as in a couple of days, I will be starting to get into the Winter Puzzle Olympics mode, and I will be starting to sorting my winter puzzles for the Olympics. And I can just assume that you guys won't mind watching the Olympic videos for a couple of weeks, and then somewhere in January, we will definitely resume the deep dive and result videos for the polls. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I always, always appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.